And I know for myself, around sickness and death, I had an eerie feeling around hospitals. Whenever I would go into hospitals, it was kind of an eerie feeling. Or when my parents would take me to these, to funeral homes, you know, to see these dead bodies. It was just kind of an eerie feeling. Like, you know, come on, I'm just playing, I'm having fun out in the creek, and then you're taking me to see these dead bodies. You know, it's almost like it was a family duty or something, you know, to go and look at this wood casket and this like cold looking, you know, lifeless body and everything. It was a weird feeling, but again, I look at that as that was part of the Spirit taking me, letting me, using those kind of things so I could start to face those feelings that I had around death in there. And then when I started to open up spiritually and open up more and more and more, then actually I found myself at one point being guided by the Spirit to go become a hospice volunteer. And that's not something David would have selected. There was this thing around sickness and death, but actually the Spirit saying, oh, come on, let's go very close. Let's get an up-close look, like on a daily basis at hospice. It was very, very helpful for me because I was working with the Course, or I was working with my mind more accurately on looking at my thoughts, my feelings, and my perceptions, and really tuning into the Spirit to guide me in certain ways. And all these profound, miraculous experiences happened on the hospice ward, which wouldn't have been something that I would have actually been drawn to, but it was more like the Spirit said, come, we'll do it this way. And over the years I've had a number of experiences which seem to involve what the world would call sickness and death that were very, very mind-expanding experiences around near-death experiences and near-death conferences, and people who had out-of-body experiences and symptoms and you know, different things around those topics. So it's really that it kind of, the Spirit used them to stretch my mind and expand my mind. How do I avoid sickness if my friend, you know, or my friends have cancer or so on and so forth? The Spirit's not big on avoiding anything. It's more like you pray and you ask to be used in the most helpful way, and you say, use me. I don't know what to say, what to do, but you know, I know you're with me, and just be with me as I go in to these situations. So I'm not going to try to avoid people or situations, or I'm not going to try to avoid cancer. You know, I'm going to say, okay, you know, lesson or miracle principle number 23, I think it is, you can heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death and can abolish them both. Wow, that's, before you go to visit your friend with cancer, that's a lesson to read, or a principle to read. That's a pretty powerful principle when you really just start to give yourself over to it and say, okay, use me. Is there anything that you have to say before I go? And yes. You can heal the sick and raise the dead because you made sickness and death and can abolish them both. Okay. You know, it's like, whoa. You know, but that's what you're going to get when you give yourself over to the Holy Spirit.